Coucou, je m'appelle Lyndi, je suis américaine qui vit en France depuis plus de 8 ans. And some of you know I've been an English prof at a uni in France and been teaching for over 8 years. But apart from that, in my videos, I also started a business 2 years ago. So first is the idea. I worked at a macaron pastry shop in the US as well as a chocolate shop cafe, chocolaterie, in France, and just always had a love for French pastries. So with that base, I've been on a few food tours on different travels, and I thought it was just such a great way to see the city through their food, but also you start to know your way around. You learn about some of its history. It's also a great thing too for photography. And living in France, I'd never seen one for just pastry. And we're in the country known for its pastry, its amazing pâtisserie. So I had the reflection of why not combine my teaching skills with my passion and experience in pastry. I just love being able to teach curious travelers and also get to support the local businesses in my city. So very cool. So let me explain my business, and also if you ever want to feel like, wow, you've done a lot to be proud of, just note down everything you've done for your project and you'll be blown away like me as I was taking notes for this video. So what do? I do guided pastry walking tours in Nancy, France. I created French Pastry Tour Nancy 2 years ago, and I've participated in food tours before, but like I said, I'd never seen one just focused on pastry, and it's France. There are so many incredible pastries to try and so much history connected to each of them. So I take travelers around to different spots in Nancy, including the market, a couple landmarks, different bakeries and cafes, as well as some hidden spots that I've even had locals that don't know of them, and they actually get to eat and try regional specialties while seeing the city and learning a touch of history while doing it. I also give them ideas for other activities and cool places to try while they're visiting Nancy. Part of it is branding or your marketing aspect. So first steps were creating my brand identity, but also lots of good old administration work. So I needed to register as a small business in France and get my own ciré number, created my social media, created paper content as well, so like flyers, business cards, and any other material that I used during my tour. I also created a tote bag with my logo on it. Then I did lots of research. And after living here for a while, of course I know of several specialties, but I didn't know them all, nor did I know all the history connected or behind it. So that was my first step, researching each specialty, its history. Then once I had several I wanted to include in my tour, the next step was figuring out my tour route. I did have several favorite pâtisseries already, but I needed to figure out not only the specialties of each bakery in regards to the ones I wanted to include in my tour, but I also had to factor in like walk time to each location based on the size of the group, and then where travelers would need like a pause or a break to sit down for a bit. Then in June 2024, that's when I did my first like test run. So I invited a group of friends to come try it out. Thank God, because it was super useful to figure out like the timing, and after that I changed quite a bit, make sure the pace was good and all that. And then when researching, I also wanted to include pastries that aren't super well known, so that travelers don't just like Google the city and then there's no surprises on the food tour. And I know from firsthand experience, I was quite disappointed with a food tour I took in Lyon. as I did a lot of research before for my guide so that everything on the tour I could have just Googled and then went on my own to try it. So I do take pride in showing not only hidden discoveries for pastries, but I also include pastries from the best bakery pastry shops in Nancy that I can vouch for. And also showing hidden spots that I've had, like I mentioned, even locals don't know of. So that's been really cool, of combining so not only the food and exploring the city, but also pleasantly surprising travelers to new flavors and textures or cool locations, and their reactions are always the best. And side note with that, I've had a lot of Dutch travelers and have learned a couple words, phrases, but lekker means delicious, and that one is constantly said on the tour. I also consider like allergies and that not everyone has a sweet tooth, so I made sure to include a variety of ingredients, textures, flavors, specialties, and then some savory pastry as well. Phase 2. As I've been teaching at the same time as I've done my business, I'd really only been using my business card, social media to promote my tours, but this past March I created my official website. That was lots of long hours, like creating the pages, not only like figuring out payment stuff, creating French and English versions, plus having to adapt it for phone use versus if someone looks at it on a computer. I have basically 4 websites in one, having to create each one. So just a lot of logistics. And very cool, not too long ago I had my first few bookings through my website, so super cool. I was happy about that. But if not, I do have my tour on several platforms, so use like Viator, TripAdvisor, Airbnb experiences too. But for all those platforms, the commission fee, it's insane. It's like 22-25%. So therefore they're taking a quarter of my sales. That part's not so great, but it is a platform where people use it a lot, and that's how I've gotten a majority of my clients. Apart from now having my own website, I also got verified with Google businesses. So if you search for French Pastry Tour Nancy on Google, you will see my business as well as all my 5-star reviews. That in itself, getting verified with Google, that has also been quite the process. For all the other business owners, small business owners, like, props to you, because it is not easy. I had to try to get verified several times. Even once they finally accepted it, then I had them saying that my account was suspended because I was not following guidelines, which was not the case. So I had to do an appeal and be like, look, I'm a real business. So now that's back up. But who knows? That's like kind of a constant battle with Google. I just wish I could speak to a real person and get that solved. But for now, it's good. Next up we have is partnerships. I've developed partnerships with several bakeries and cafes, along with creating reels with several of them to highlight a pastry that they make that everyone should try, or maybe some of the behind the scenes. And I love that these videos too, it's not just like, hey, buy this product. Like, I really am choosing pastries and places that I support their quality, the experience you'll have with their staff, their presentation. I really want to only recommend places that welcome you and offer that great experience. I'm also partnered with like a lodging or like Airbnb, booking.com type thing with a jacuzzi and all that. I'm excited to film a video with them where I'll actually kind of show you their whole apartment, and it's this nice experience when you come to Nancy, and then have it be a whole trip where you can then see some different sites, take the pastry tour, all that. So that'll be fun to film in the future. And then too, I was partnered with the tourism office of Nancy. I did have to pay a fee for that and get approved, but I chose not to renew this year because honestly, for the price, there was no benefits whatsoever. And funny enough, since our partnership technically ended, they've shared more of my stories and posts with their audience more in the past few months than the whole year I was partnered with them. So, and two, partnerships have been a big life lesson for me. I always go into meeting business owners knowing, one, I love what they do, they have quality products, and two, how can I show off their best skills and specialties that I think my travelers and French pastry tour followers should try? So I've created several amazing partnerships, but I wanted to mention the life lesson part that we don't always think about. But I've had some rejections, and no worries. You won't be liked by everyone, and that's okay. But long story short, I had quite a rude business owner when I proposed them an idea that I had, and just her rudeness was very surprising. I just kind of left that experience thinking how lucky I am that I have partnered with people that support mutually. So we support each other and we want to build each other up, and it's not a competition. Let's celebrate the beauty and cool ideas that we create. Let's give travelers this fun, informative, and welcoming experience, and let them feel the joy from the passion that we exude for what we do. So a good little life lesson. Also in June, I distributed flyers to many different hotels in Nancy, and then I have business cards and flyers in some cafes and bakeries in town too. Student tours. This was a newer feature. I developed student tours recently. I did some as a prof this past school year, just for uni students to kind of show them different spots in Nancy. But recently, I've developed it out a bit more and launched it officially with French Pastry Tour Nancy. They're able to kind of get an idea of the city, discover some different spots, some cool new spots, cafes, things like that, some of its history, and then a pastry is also included in the tour for a reasonable student price. And even as I say all this, I'm recording this at the end of July, and I've had some interest in the student tours, but then there's been la canicule, so the heat wave, so not as much interest, so that could be a factor. But I realized too, many students leave the city in the summer, rather for work, holiday, visit their family, go back home, whatever. So looking back, I realized I should probably have launched it for la rentrée, so when school starts back up. But oh well. Just shows you you think maybe you should have made a different decision, but it's okay. You live and you learn. Fast forward to more recently, I just organized a contest for celebrating the 2 years of my business. I had one winner get a taste of Nancy box. So this is a new edition I've launched with my tours. It's an add-on you can add to your tour. I carefully select additional specialties that highlight this region and also can be easily packed in travel as well. And with my contest too, this comment made me laugh. It said, "Thanks to the team for this contest." And I'm like, it's me, I'm the team. Tours. So the past couple months I've had at least 1 to 3 tours a week, so it's been steady. and great to show not only tourists but those who live in the city or region. It's been cool to offer that experience to them, both in English et en français, in French. I'm also developing a new tour with 2 other partnerships of mine where you'll get to experience local specialties, wine, and with a truly incredible view. I'm still working with a partner that is going on vacation soon. We'll see how this works out. Bref, it's in development. So I'm very excited to unveil that one soon. I also have a couple other tour ideas in my planning document on my computer, but not enough hours in a day. So I will unveil those in time. So, little reflection to wrap up. With all that being said, I am super duper proud of my business and excited for what's to come and developing it even more and meeting other curious travelers and exchanging about culture and just discover cool things. And even with locals, I've had a couple that have moved to Nancy, and it was such a great idea as like an introduction to get to know the city a little bit, see cool spots, get other ideas for things to do here, all that. As I said, I am proud. And I am, but I know too I go through waves of like imposter syndrome, but luckily I do have those around me who see my drive and passion and work ethic and tell me to rest. So I'm working on the balance, but also just really enjoying bringing this idea to life. So thank you for supporting me with my videos, and if you want to support me in other ways, you can now book a pastry tour with me, or if traveling to France isn't an option right now, even just like passing along the tour info to someone who might be traveling to France soon is super helpful. You can also follow along on Instagram at French Pastry Tour Nancy, or check out my website, I'll link it below, but FrenchPastryTourNancy.com. Okay, so that was a lot, so I'm gonna leave it there, but thank you so much for watching. Gros bisous et à la prochaine. Salut, bisous.